property. You know, chicken, horses, sheep, greenhouses, all the things. All right? It's like a whole little house on the prairie starter.
Oh Lord, another FAFO celebrity edition, and this one is for Carrie Underwood. Evidently, she's battling exhaustion from having to deal with the endless repairs of looking after a farm.
Hey Maga, Carrie Underwood is hiring. She's got 400 acres and livestock and can't seem to find anyone to work her farm.
Do you guys remember Carrie Underwood? You know, the same Carrie Underwood that sang at Trump's inauguration, even though her most popular song is about how cheating on your spouse is bad? It seems that coming out in support of Donald Trump hasn't saved her from his policies.
We're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get into a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
So apparently she has a farm in Tennessee that she's staying up all night trying to take care of because apparently nobody wants to come to work because she has a lot of immigrants working for her.
I dug my keys into the side of this pretty little souped-up four-wheel drive.
Remember Carrie Underwood? The MAGA princess? The Donald Trump supporter? Do you remember her?
Lord, please deport the illegal immigrant dishwasher at my local Italian restaurant and separate him from his family so I can feel safe again. You ever watch someone voluntarily walk into a bear trap, smile, and then cry when it snaps? Yeah. Welcome to today's episode of F Around and Find Out, Maga edition, starring none other than Carrie Underwood, country sweetheart turned border security enthusiast, now crying over spilled milk and unpaid farmhands. Why? Because Sis can't run her farm anymore. Apparently, all her workers disappeared. And by disappeared, I mean probably deported or too scared to show up. Thanks to the very policies she supported when she sang at Trump's inauguration. Unprovoked. Just out of the kindness of her patriotic little heart. Now, before we get into the Carrie Chronicles, we need to take a quick field trip through the magical land of MAGA logic, where critical thinking goes to die. And people say things like, why don't Americans want to work anymore, while also supporting the mass deportation of the very people doing the work. So grab your brain cells and hold on tight, because the clips you're about to see may reduce your IQ by at least 3 points. Viewer discretion is advised, especially if you still believe in empathy, economics, or reality. This one's a ride. Let's roll the clip.
What does that mean to you, Trump 2028?
It means that President Trump could be our president again.
Does it bother you that it's in the Constitution, that it's one of the amendments that he can't do 3 terms?
Well, maybe the amendment could be changed. Congress, it's possible. So let's see what happens.
Would you be okay with the Second Amendment being changed?
The only thing I want about the Second Amendment to be changed for would be to, like voter ID. Just make sure
Obama calling the shots if Trump is still president.
What was the cause of the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War in the 1800s?
The cause of the Civil War.
What do you think the cause of the Civil War was?
I don't know.
What would you say is the cause of the Civil War?
The Civil War? What caused the Civil War? They mostly, I'm thinking of the first war when we became Americans.
And then we had a Civil War. What do you think caused our Civil War?
Sin, I suppose, you know? There was something evil. Mankind is hard on each other, man.
You either have to vote for Kamala or Putin. Who do you choose?
Oh, definitely Putin.
Putin.
Really? Why?
Absolutely. He's for his people. He is for his people.
Yeah, Putin's values on family and on traditions and, protecting children. It almost sounds like, I'm not a pro-Putin guy.
So you think the country would be better off under a rule like a Kim Jong-un or somebody, or Vladimir Putin?
Hey, I love Russia.
You do? Why?
Yeah, it's beautiful. The people are wonderful.
I'm not a fan of Putin, but Kamala is for communism and taking our whole taking us further down the crap hole.
This is going to be a tough one, but what's your definition of communism? I just want to know.
I believe, it starts off great. I see how people can be attracted to it, like, oh, everybody's even.
As long as he went through the proper, as long as he went
As long as
through.
he came here legally. As long as Jesus Christ came to this country legally, we would let him in. Thank you. No, thank you. Yes. I feel like Jesus was kind of like a big open border socialist.
That's interesting that you say that. Well, there are some things that,
How do you prove you're a citizen without due process? No, you can't get that. You're in jail. How do you get it? On your person right now. You have it right on. No, someone had a real ID at a work site. They were still arrested by ICE. They said it was fake. So we just leave the federal government if they say that. I could say that you were in MS-13 and send you to another country. Right, but how do you prove that without a trial? The problem is, if you don't have a trial, then we don't have freedom. If they're hiding, then how are they getting arrested at immigration court?
Where do you think you're a lawyer? My Bill of Rights doesn't apply to anybody outside this country.
Yes, but it applies to everyone inside this country.
Not legally, it applies.
It applies to everyone in this country. That's why we're the freest country on earth.
Get the fuck out there. We can deal with ours.
I don't want you to get disappeared by the government. Protect your...
Not yours.
We need you on our sides, guys.
Apparently not.
You want to send the military to Los Angeles? Get ready for them to go to your town. It's the government.
I'll feed them dinner.
Don't tread on me. Who's the me? It's us, the people.
Not you. People don't treat on me. I want you
That's not
fucking
real.
out.
Because they took your job. I'm sorry for that.
Hey, I got a great fucking great fucking one.
That's great.
My fucking job.
So they're not hurting you in any way. So they've done nothing to you. I love you, sir. I believe in you. I will fight for you.
You're implying that the government made a hurricane stronger to hurt its own country, the United States of America?
Correct.
Why would a country want to have a hurricane be strong and hit its own country?
Because they want to control certain places, and if you're looking at where the hurricane's going, it's a lot of red states. If you're looking at the counties in North Carolina that were hit, there were all of them, 26 out of 28 of those counties were for Trump. They're doing whatever they can because they can't break the election.
Even control the weather?
Yes.
Taxes, 40 years. The wealth in this country, the wealth inequality has increased, which is the top 1% has grabbed the wealth of the majority bottom.
There are reasons why that's happened. But just
Why
so
is
we
that
are
happening?
clear.
Why is that happening? I'm happy to explain that. Just so we are clear, saying we're going to just raise tax on the billionaires, that statement, you just violated 2 out of the 10 commandments. That's not true. Thou shalt not steal and thou shalt not covet. We're going to go take other people's money.
How is that stealing?
Because it's their money. We live in a society that is run by taxes. How is that stealing? Well, taxations are a form of theft, definitionally, because it's not the government's money. It is private property that you earn when the government extracts it by
breaks
force.
into your house, you call the police. When you have a fire, you call the fireman. When you want to drive, you drive on roads. When you want to mail, you use the U.S. Post Office. These are all taxes.
Yeah,
We all contribute as a society.
Of course. Now look,
I don't want to completely fry your brain cells this early in the video. I value your neurological function, but I do need you to see what we're working with before we roll into Carrie Underwood's Find Out season. Because trust me, it's giving, I made my bed, but now I'm suing the mattress. Let's start with none other than Charlie Kirk. The man said, with his full chest, that billionaires shouldn't be taxed more because doing so breaks 2 of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not steal, and thou shalt not covet. Okay, wise guy, but wasn't it Jesus who said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's? Or was that verse only meant for waiters and W-2 workers, not billionaires with yachts? Or maybe Charlie skips that one depending on who's cutting his check and which scriptures are trending in the donor group chat. So let me get this straight. Taxing Elon Musk is stealing, but when the government snatches rent, healthcare, and 30% of your minimum wage check, that's just business as usual? By this logic, is the IRS basically the Antichrist? Watch how his face glitches when this young man explains the actual purpose of taxes. You can literally see the circuits frying in real time. And that's because Charlie's whole job is debating undergrads who don't yet know he's running the gaslight, gatekeep, grift loop. And it doesn't stop there. These are the same people who genuinely believe that Joe Biden's government is controlling the weather to punish red states with hurricanes. Because apparently they couldn't rig the votes in time. Like, just sit with that for a second. Not climate change. Not natural disaster. No, it's deep state hurricane targeting. This is what happens when you replace science with conspiracy and call it patriotism. And that's the kind of logic Carrie Underwood aligned herself with. Oh, Trump says Jesus? He must be a man of God. So she sang at his inauguration, unprovoked, like she was leading praise and worship at a Maga tent revival. Well, the revival's over, the choir's gone, and Carrie is now stuck trying to take care of a farm with nobody to do the labor. Because let's be real, those undocumented folks she had working there aren't turning up anymore. Wait, hold up. Are you telling me she didn't do her due diligence? Are you telling me she knowingly exploited people? Are you telling me Ms. Bible Belt herself was hiring illegal labor? I thought MAGA country was all about law and order. But I guess when the crops need picking and the cows need feeding, suddenly the build the wall energy disappears. And let's not even get into the irony. Aren't those unchristian behaviors, exploiting the vulnerable, turning a blind eye as long as the work gets done cheap, then crying foul when the system you supported comes knocking on your own door? It's almost like the Bible had something to say about treating workers with dignity and not oppressing the stranger among you. But here she is, neck deep in her find out phase, because you can't plant hypocrisy and expect to harvest blessings. So let's go ahead and pull the receipts, because the internet's been calling Carrie out for her racism long before the tractors went silent. Roll the clips.
How are some of y'all so shocked that Carrie Underwood is awful? The news came out that she's performing for Donald Trump's inauguration, and I could not be less surprised. And I forget that a lot of people only know of Carrie Underwood from her, poppy early days post-American Idol and aren't necessarily privy to country music or country music fans or country music gossip. Because Carrie Underwood has been talked about as being the meanest person in country music for a very long time. And this is all hearsay, but she's apparently super rude to staff, she's super mean and abusive to, makeup artists and hair artists, bullies women in the industry because she thinks she's hot shit. Allegedly. I went to Nashville last year to go see Taylor Swift, and our Uber driver, because I'm a big country music fan, and I was asking him, ooh, who have you met? How are they like? And he said, without hesitation, that the rudest, most awful of all of the country artists that have places in Nashville is Carrie fucking Underwood and Kid Rock. But I feel like that's a little bit more of a given. Kid Rock looks like he would call you a racial slur and then pee on your car, so that's really in line with his branding. But Carrie Underwood has played America's Princess for a very long time, but she has always been really deep with the NFL, she has always been deep with her country roots, and she has always been super fucking conservative as well. Jesus take the wheel? Come on. The writing was on the wall here, people. And I'm not saying that if you were a devout Christian or a conservative that innately makes you a dick, but she is also widely known as an asshole. So maybe it is actually pretty on brand. But yeah, this news did not surprise me one bit.
I have a question. Has Carrie Underwood always been how nasty she is now to me. Hello. Breaking news. I dug my keys into the side of his pretty little souped-up four-wheel drive.
The Maga princess. The Donald Trump supporter. Do you remember her? So it's reported that Carrie Underwood is exhausted from farm chores piling up with her busy career. Guess what, Carrie? Your guy, the guy you voted for, he deported your farm help. Go pick your own crops. Go milk your own cows. That's what you voted for, Carrie. That's what all of you voted for. Either that or get off the farm. If you can't handle it, farm girl. We all knew that was some fake country that you were trying to put on display for the country. You're no country girl. What do you know about taking care of a farm? Get real. Have the life you deserve. Please. Do better, America. All of the help, all of the people that kept our country running, you wanted them out of here. So they're out of here. They left. They're scared to show up. 40% of the dairy farmers are contemplating having to shut down their dairy farms. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, administration. Thank you, Maga. Thank you guys for voting for this. You voted to destroy our country.
Oh Lord, another FAFO celebrity edition, and this one is for Carrie Underwood. Evidently, she's battling exhaustion from having to deal with the endless repairs of looking after a farm, feeding the animals, and tending to the crops. Apparently, farm life does not agree with her, and for whatever reason, they don't have any farm workers. So her husband, and her two kids are having to pick up the slack of looking after a farm. And apparently it's hard work. Yes, my dear. It is very hard work to be on a farm. So, yep, get to it. Get up at the crack of dawn, get out there and get on those chores. What's the matter? Are the royalties from until cheats drying up that you can't afford to pay farm workers? Did you have undocumented working for you? And now they're not there anymore.
Carrie Underwood? Yeah. This guy said TikTok. You don't know me? Listen, yeah, I'm calling you that. You goddamn hillbilly. You Trump loving, Maga loving motherfucking hillbilly. See what that goddamn ain't got you? Now them goddamn cows and all them goddamn animals you taking care of. And you ain't got no goddamn hillbilly. Here's some advice for me. Get your little narrow, poor, lily white ass out there and take care of goddamn animals. That's animal abuse. Animal cruelty or something. I hate somebody need to snatch your little poor ass up. You need help now, don't you? You want to let a little Luigi and amigo them come back and help your little poor ass. Get them goddamn hillbilly neighbors of yours. All the motherfuckers that you have following you and supporting you. That fucked up ass music and shit of yours. Get them motherfuckers to come out there. That ain't gonna happen. Y'all motherfuckers can't stand the sun, kid. Yeah. Fuck around and found that with your little poke down ass and shit.
Alright, does everybody remember Carrie Underwood? Little Miss Maga? The Trump trailer park princess? Yes, the girl that came out and sang in his inauguration, which she had no reason to. And then later called it a MAGA makeover. Well, it seems Little Miss Maga was using immigrant labor on her farm, and now she's having a crisis because she can't find anybody to work at her farm. Dozens of animals being neglected. Carrie, you were using immigrant labor? And Carrie, I didn't think people like you complained. I thought y'all just pulled yourself up by your bootstraps. Is that not what's happening? And what happened to all the good genes? Are they all relaxed fit in Tennessee? I mean, surely when y'all brag on genetics and all this, like, some people can perform some manual labor, right? Or are you one of these rich people that's trying to pay $7 an hour for them to work at your farm all day? You know, and it'd sure be a shame if enough people complained to NBC and got your song taken off of Sunday Night Football. We don't need the femme fascists of football serenading us before a bunch of dudes run into each other. You know, it's
saying that you make $1 million every time that song plays. But maybe you could use some of that money to hire some people.
Do you guys remember Carrie Underwood? You know, the same Carrie Underwood that sang at Trump's inauguration, even though her most popular song is about how cheating on your spouse is bad? It seems that coming out in support of Donald Trump hasn't saved her from his policies. After buying a 400-acre farm with her family so she could show off that Instagram tradwife lifestyle, apparently despite all the glamour, it has quickly turned into a nightmare. Her and her family have found themselves running her 400-acre farm, complete with livestock, equipment, buildings, repairs and all the rest, almost single-handedly because they can't get any staff. This is probably not helped by the fact that ICE is currently sweeping the nation, scooping people up off the streets for not looking white enough, a way that is currently dramatically impacting America's farming economy. Many American farmers, a lot of whom voted for Trump, coming out to admit that because their workers are so afraid of ICE raids setting up for work, which means all of them are losing business and staff. No doubt that is probably a huge reason as to why Carrie Underwood is having such a nightmare with her little farm fantasy. Almost like coming out in support of self-serving fascists isn't actually going to help you because they're only out for themselves. It was kind of funny when the backing track cut off halfway through. Follow for more.
I was reported about Carrie Underwood that her farm is struggling and she can't find help to maintain the land and stuff. So, here's the thing. Both my parents were on a farm, so they had a pretty strong farm work ethic. Animals, they fed them, all this other stuff. So, again, my parents were farm workers. That's why they were always up at the crack of dawn because they're
has been warning y'all for years about Trump and the people like him. Literally laying it all out. How this country is being hollowed out from the inside by billionaire-friendly policies disguised as patriotism. But do you listen? Of course not. This right here, this Carrie Underwood farm fiasco, yeah, this is exactly what she voted for. Now, don't get it twisted. Carrie's not broke. She's got money, like real money. Definitely more than the average farmer who effed around and found out. So, sure, she might not be crying over a busted tractor or figuring out how to pay her electricity bill. But guess what? She's still not immune to the policies she helped empower. And here's the thing. Maga's hypocrisy is so loud it could headline Coachella. These are the same folks who scream about Christian values while twisting scripture, hating their neighbors, locking kids in cages, and voting convicted felons into office like it's a holy calling. Imagine that. And where are the Maga pastors in all this? Oh, don't worry. They're not saying a word. Nope. They're too busy blessing Trump's mugshot and handing out tithes to delusion. They won't dare call this out. Because for them, it's never been about truth. It's about power. It's about protecting their place in the club. Richard Wolff built an economy on exploitation. When you prioritize capital over people, when you convince working class Americans that billionaires are their saviors, eventually the whole thing comes crashing down. You can't worship the rich, ignore the poor, and then act shocked when the system eats you alive. And maybe, just maybe, Scripture had it right. Leaders are a reflection of the people. When the people are blinded by greed, fear, and nationalism, God hands them over to the very corruption they voted for. So what do you think? Is Carrie just another case of poetic justice? Or is this a much bigger sign that we've been ignoring prophets, even the ones with PhDs and spreadsheets? Let me know down below.
Jesus Christ would want ICE to raid churches and hospitals and schools. Do you think that he would support children being separated from their families? He would turn asylum seekers away at the border? If you think that any of this is somehow godly, I urge you to listen to the countless verses that tell us to accept the foreigner, to not mistreat the oppressed, and to love thy neighbor because that is our greatest commandment. Might I remind you that the only thing separating you and a refugee is quite literally where you were born, which you had no control over, mind you. It is very easy to cast judgment from the comfort of your own home when you have no idea who you live and birth. It's very easy to be bigoted towards people when you have never walked in their shoes. Maybe let's take a look inward and ask ourselves, is this what Jesus would want? Am I acting how Jesus would? Am I being of service to my fellow human beings? Or am I supporting people and policies who enact harm and violence against God's children? And I don't know what version of Jesus you all are subscribing to, but the one that I believe in would never stand for that.
Did you know that over 80% of the immigrants in America are working those farms, especially in the southern state? Yes, that is the reality. And majority of them are illegal. They don't have papers in America. That's the reason why they prefer working those farms. They call them, illegal migrant jobs. Americans who have papers, Americans who are citizens, they look down on those working in those farm jobs because they say, oh, they don't pay us enough. They are paying us below the minimum wage, so we cannot sustain ourselves. We cannot earn enough money to sustain ourselves in our daily activities, even paying our bills. That's the reason why most farming jobs, they are known to be acquired or to be done by illegal immigrants, or should I say, yeah, people who are in America who don't have papers. Because if you don't have any papers, then how are you going to survive? Then you're forced to work those types of job where you just go in, get paid, and you go out. That is the reality. So now, fast forward, the elections came in, the current administration came in, and one of the policies that the current administration came in America, they say they want to remove illegal immigrants in America. So fast forward right now, farmers are tired, farmers are complaining, farmers are crying because they don't have workers to work in those farms. So here we're having Carrie Underwood. She's a famous American singer. She's literally complaining, saying she's exhausted because they are, and every day in that farm there's something to do. Repairs left, right, and center. Animals to be looked after. Products to be looked after. But the surprising part is there are no workers. Where can she get workers when majority of migrants, or should I say illegal migrants who used to work in those farms, are not there. They have run away. That is the reality. So right now, this is something most farmers in America are facing, and they're complaining, and they're saying they're literally seeing their farms, seeing their products, or should I say their cows being neglected, their animals being neglected. If it's they have planted in those farms, they are seeing their crops, getting spoiled, and there's nothing they can do about it. And then now, to make things worse, with this tariff war between China and America, now you have seen China, who is the #1 biggest market of America export, especially when it comes to agriculture. They have turned their back on American produce, or American goods, agriculture goods, and they have decided, to look for alternative markets. Right now, you're being told Australia is supplying beef to China. Soybeans is being China is literally exporting from Brazil. We are also looking at Canada is also benefiting from China. So China is literally now saying, you know what, America, the only country that we are going to depend on when it comes to getting agriculture produce. We can always get source from other alternative markets. So right now, what's happened to the American farmers right now? They're stranded. They have the soybeans, they have the beef ready to be exported, but there is no market, no customer. China has literally ordered zero from America, thanks to this tariff war that is happening. So farmers right now, they're crying. They're crying because they're experiencing losses, heavy losses. Can you imagine? You have done everything in your part as a supplier or as a business person, and then at the end of the day, you're waiting for the customer to give you the orders, and this customer is telling you, no, we're not giving you any orders. We are looking for alternative markets. We want nothing to do with you. That's basically what American farmers are facing. So Carrie Underwood right now, and plus other millions and millions of farmers in America right now, they're crying tears, exhausted, and they're saying, what's going to happen to their farms? There are no workers. There's no market to sell their produce. So what's going to happen to their farms? That is the question. Because right now you're being told farmers are literally facing bankruptcy. They're getting foreclosure. Others are literally, saying, they're losing their farms, which they've been owning for over 100 years down the line. So what's going to happen? And right now, the government even is not stepping up to come up with policies to bail out the farmers. It's not doing that. That is the cry that American farmers are having right now. And that's what Carrie Underwood right now is crying, is facing. Of course, for Carrie Underwood, she's famous, she's rich, because she's an American farmer. But at the end of the day, even her, she's facing as a farmer, as a cattle, as a person who has a huge piece of land. She was doing it as farming, and right now she's also facing the same thing as millions and millions of farmers in America are currently facing. Let me know what you think about this video, and of course, remember, consequences. Elections have consequences. Who you vote for has consequences, and this is what farmers are facing right now. This is their consequences. Know who you're voting for, because at the end of the day, it's you who's going to have to live with your actions. It's you who's going to live with the regrets. It's you who's going to live with the consequences of your decision during your ballot, when you're casting that ballot paper. Let me know what you think about this video, and drop your comments and subscribe to my channel. Like I say, Farfor season continues.